I guess this is what happens when you stay inside for a month. Actually, who am I kidding? This is how my hair always looks. We're actually really used to cutting our own hair, so I have no excuse for this. Really, I've been cutting my own hair for a couple decades, if not longer. Before I started cutting my own hair, I just didn't cut my hair. My hair used to be like long, like down to the middle of my back long. Mid-90s? Now that you know how old I am, I want to show you guys a video that I'm going to post today. It goes back 2 months almost. Back before everything just blew up in the world. By the way, if you're watching this like years from now and for some reason you don't know what I'm talking about, this is April 2020 and we're in the midst of a coronavirus crisis. Almost everybody in Europe is locked down. There are restrictions for everybody. We're currently in Croatia, but 2 months ago we were in Morocco. So I want to show you guys our time in the city of Fez. In this video we took a taxi to the old Medina in Fez. This is our experience. I hope you guys like it.
Welcome to Molly Mish. My name is Dan. We're a family of 5 traveling around the world by land since 2008. First 10 years in North America, now Europe, Asia, and Africa. This is our story. On our second day in Fez, we headed out to check out the world-famous Medina. Unlike the Medina in Chefchaouen or Asala, we're too far away to be able to walk there. Since we're leaving a van at the campground, we need to find a way on how to take a taxi. Unfortunately, we were quoted an outrageous amount by the campground host. I guess part of his business here is to work with taxis and tour guides, but we just need to hop in a taxi and walk around by ourselves. So we needed to find another way. Alright, so from the campground, we asked the guy who runs the place if he can get us a taxi. It was going to be like 300 dirhams for the guide, another like 200-300 dirhams for the taxi. A taxi, a small one anyways, they have small, petite taxi or a grand taxi, big taxi. Each way from here to Fez, the Medina, the old town, should be about 30 dirhams. That's about 3 euros. So we're going to walk over to this hospital over here and catch a couple of small taxis instead for 60 dirhams instead of paying the 500 to 600 dirhams this guy wanted us to do. I mean, we've heard that guided tours are nice, but I think our speed is just more walking around. All right, we're on a big taxi. You guys fit back there? Everybody good?
It's actually roomier than usual taxis.
Yeah? So we walked to the hospital to catch a taxi. We got in a big taxi so we can all fit in one. Now we're headed down to the Medina. We found a big taxi that fit all 5 of us. Basically, it's just a sedan, an old Mercedes sedan. They say the big taxis like that one, they'll fit 6 people or up to 6 people. And the small one's up to 3, so we can fit in the big one. And from where we are to here, it was 60 dirhams. And now we are trying to decide how to get in there. It's pretty much a guarantee that we're gonna get lost at some point today. But we just passed the parking lot that's on Park for Night, which is going to be my point of reference for when we need to get out of here. I can probably try to catch a taxi. That's kind of where the taxi dropped us off anyways. So if we can make it back to here, we should be good. The old Medina of Fez was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site back in 1981. It has been here for more than 10 centuries. Even today, people from all over the world visit and buy handmade products like brassware and leather goods. One of the many tourist attractions here is the leather tannery. It has been in operation since the very beginning. Not only are these leather goods made and sold here, it is also exported all around the world. You can't get as close to the tannery as you're used to, but many businesses attract customers by offering overhead views from their balconies. Most of them were free, but the really close ones will cost you a couple bucks. Walking around the Medina is a really cool experience. Just the sheer size of it all is mind-boggling. Taking a turn down a corridor, you'll never know what you'll see on the other side. It is almost a guarantee that you'll get lost during your first visit here. But there's no need to be afraid. You'll eventually find your way out. Just soak it all in while you're in the maze. Okay, we came to just a hole-in-the-wall restaurant. We walked probably for a good, 30 minutes. And just so happens we're following this tour of Spanish tourists that were being guided by somebody. So we're just like, let's follow these people. And then they ended up taking us to the terraces, the balconies above the tannery, which is the thing to see here in Fez. So we got to see the tannery. You can't really walk down to the tannery, so you can only see it from these terraces up above. So there are businesses that have terraces, and you can go up there. Some of them will let you go in for free, but other ones will want to charge you if they're really close, if it's a really good look. We also considered eating at one of the restaurants that have views of the tannery. We decided against it because, one, it's really expensive. It's like more than double the cost of other restaurants like this. And also it smells. What you don't realize about the tannery is like these are hides that just came off of cows pretty freshly, pretty recently, possibly even that morning. So you can smell like the rancid meat and it's not something you want to smell when you're eating. So anyways, we ended up walking around, and 30 minutes into our walk, we ended back up at the same spot. And you're gonna get lost here in the Medina and Fez, or any big Medinas in Moroccan towns. So we just ended up finding this place, and we're gonna eat here.
Look what I got. Got everything to share. Look what I picked Just eat a little bit from each plate. You like to have this side up. Like, yummy. Really good.
Right here is the famous Blue Gate. On the outside,
Luca said it was like.
there's a replica of this in Epcot Center in Disney World, Florida. But this is the real deal. So that was it. That was our walk through the old Medina in Fez. We had lunch, we got some spices, we got some treats. It was really cool. First pretty good experience at a big Medina in Morocco. Now we gotta find a taxi and get back to the campground.
Someone's wearing a Fez hat in Fez. It's a very big Fez though.
Fez hat and Fez. On our way back, we had much more trouble finding a reasonably priced taxi. Everyone that spoke any English at all near the Medina was charging tourist prices. But I guess I should have expected that. Since we're at the Blue Gate, it is all the way on the other side of the Medina from where we were dropped off earlier that morning. It is a much more touristy area. We walked all the way around the outside of the Medina and made our way back to where we had arrived earlier, but still had trouble. It took some time, but we eventually were able to flag down a couple of petite taxis willing to take us back. We had a really good day in Fez today, as you can tell. We walked all through the Medina. We managed to get a taxi from the hospital to the Medina. It cost about 60 dirhams, which is 6 euros. So that sort of set the bar for how much it cost to get there and back. We walked all day, had some lunch, did some shopping, bought some Moroccan spice mix, some Moroccan treats, really happy about what we got to see. Our first thorough experience at a Moroccan Medina in a big city, the second biggest city in the country, Fes. And on the way back, it was a little bit more challenging to get a taxi. We ended up walking all the way back around. At first, we went to the Blue Gate, and at the Blue Gate, there were just a bunch of taxis, and you can tell it was more kind of touristy, more oriented for, French speakers, English speakers, Spanish speakers. So naturally, these people that target the tourists like us are going to charge a little more. So the first taxi wanted 150 dirhams, which we could only get him down to 100, so we passed on him. And then the second guy wanted 100, the third guy wanted 120. So we ended up deciding to walk all the way back around to where we got dropped off initially in the morning. And it took a while because we couldn't find anybody that spoke enough English to help us out, so we had to kind of fumble with some broken French. And a local guy actually helped us flag down a couple of taxis. We couldn't find a big taxi which seats 6 people legally, so the small ones only seat 3. And it was weird, you can tell some of these taxi drivers didn't even want to bother with tourists, which I guess they have an easier time just dealing with locals. But we did find a nice local guy who helped us. He just saw us kind of having a little bit of trouble getting a taxi, so he helped us flag down a couple people. He ran up to them and said, hey, these guys need taxis over here. So yeah, we got 2 taxis. We had to split up. First time we had to split up taking taxis back, and Marlene and Luca and Ava paid 25 dirhams, and me and Mila were in the other taxi. We paid 30 dirhams. So we ended up paying 5 dirhams less to come back than it is to go there. Your mileage may vary. When you come visit here, if you do come visit and stay at this campground, you take the taxi, you want to walk over to the hospital, get a taxi there, and then that should cost about 60 dirhams for a big one or 30 for a small one. And on the way back, expect to pay a little bit more or have a harder time finding taxis to take you back. But it can be done. Totally worth it. We had a great day today. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to spend another night here at this campground and head out tomorrow. Tomorrow we're heading to the Middle Atlas Mountains. See you in the next one.